Welcome to this ToolHound Learning Center video on managing and preventing overdue inventory by setting return dates and then following up on that inventory with notification, scheduled reports, and emailed reminders. There are two methods of setting due dates by which inventory is expected to be returned. Keep in mind that due dates apply only to serialized and bulk inventory, as consumable and non-stock inventory is not expected back. Setting the max days out on a part number will automatically set the due date for any issues to be the transaction date plus the number of days specified. This applies to all entities checking out this part. You might reserve this for certain parts or equipment with a known history of being hoarded. Setting the due date when checking out tools and equipment will apply that date to all items on the transaction, unless they have a max days out set on the part number. In that case, the max days out takes precedence. Let's see these two methods in action. We'll start an issue for Andy, and we'll set the due date to September 26th. We'll enter in a golf cart and a level. Each of these two items inherit the due date from the transaction. We'll then enter a grinder that has a max days out on the part number, and this overrides the transaction due date. For each item on the transaction, you can change, keep, or delete the due date. It's up to you. Sending a transaction receipt by email or printing a hard copy gives the person responsible a heads up right away. So, once inventory has an expected due date, how do we manage it? You can set up a notification to send you a list of overdue, late, tools and equipment. This is a background notification, so it runs daily even if there is nothing to report on. You can set up as many recipients as you need, but it's always going to go to those people regardless of what's included in the list. The resulting email looks very similar to the issued assets report. Check out our video on notifications. Speaking of the issued assets report, it serves as your overdue report as well by simply entering a due date. Anything with a due date after the date entered will be considered late or overdue. If you want to schedule the issued assets report for advanced warning, use the advanced filters with the due date criteria with a relative date for the advanced warning of the overdue. We have videos on scheduling reports and advanced filters too. We've looked at getting an overview, but how do we follow up on it? We now need to remind people of what they have in the field that should be returned. If you want to send multiple emails filtered in different ways, copy supervisors, add a custom message, or only email for late items, this is it. Use the issued assets email. Yes, there's a video. One of the most common questions we get is, what does the yellow highlight mean? You'll see this on the transactions and the transaction history for both personnel and non-stocking locations. Yellow indicates inventory that is outstanding. It's still issued. Red indicates the inventory is overdue. It's late and should have been brought back already. So how do you use that information? Click the envelope icon to email the list of issued and late inventory to the entity, whether that's a personnel or non-stocking location. This sends only to the specific entity you're viewing. No, you can't filter out only late items, but we've seen that you can use the issued assets email to handle that. Let's review what we've learned so far. You aren't obliged to use due dates on all transactions. You might have specific tools that have a tendency to stay out when not necessary, or you might have a forecast end date for a project, or you might have certain personnel with a history of hoarding tools. You know your problem areas. For certain part numbers that need greater control, you can set a max days out on each part number to automatically calculate the due date. Entering a due date when checking out applies the same expected return date to all items on the transaction unless there's a max days out for a part. To keep an eye on overdue inventory, use a notification or the issued assets report. Send email reminders with the issued assets email for multiple entities, or use the transaction history for a single entity at a time. Thanks for watching this video from the ToolHound Learning Center. For any questions, contact our support team. And remember, subscribe and hit the notification bell.